life story work is the documentation and the written down evidence-based of a child's journey into care. Children who have shared their life story work with me, so I have seen a few. It talks about their journey into care, but it also incorporates their family of origin. And this is really, really important for them because a lot of children, when they're removed, again, they're back in survival mode. So their understanding of why they're in care can often be limited. And in therapy, we see it often when they begin to be curious. Once they feel safe and stabilized and they're beginning to remember their experiences in their birth family, they are curious about, it's also identity formation, by the way, but they want to know, how comes I came to be in care? What happened to me? The life story work sits with the social worker. But for a child to have their life story is kind of crucial. It's absolutely crucial when they're forming their identity. For some children, they're already at 11 to know, some are already at 16, 15. Either way, when a child says, I'm ready to know about my journey into care, then that work must be done ASAP. And the delay delays their development. They must know, particularly in relation to race, culture, identity that we've been speaking about. They will want to know, what does my mom look like? Where does my hair come from? Where does this curl pattern come from? Who do I look like? Are there aunts? Are there uncles? Are there grandparents? Who makes up my family? In understanding who am I? So life story work is absolutely critical. And at the stage it's done, I wouldn't like to say there is one fixed stage of doing it. What I will say from my experience of working with a therapist with children in care for the last 6 years is that almost always we get to the point in therapy when they want to know how they came to be in care and they want to know what happened to them. So the life story work holds the key here, because that's when they can begin to integrate their sense of self. So they've left one self behind. The self that was in care in the birth family might have been neglected and abused, and they've come into care and they have another experience of being cared for by a different family. There comes a time when we must integrate the two. And at the point the young person is ready to integrate their sense of who they are, that's where the life story is the missing pieces. It literally holds the answers. So I cannot stress enough how important life story work is. Again, there are, of course, some complexities to it. How much does the child get to know? What if there are things in their backgrounds they're better off not knowing? That would be for the social worker to decide, or to sensitively share at different developmental stages when they're able to take it. But even from placement, if the life story begins, it actually is quite useful. I have not met a child who hasn't found something important from their life story work and who hasn't shared it with me as I found this out, this hurts. And some wish they didn't know, but on balance, they're glad that they do know. Because a lot of worries they have are, am I going to be like my mom? Am I going to turn into my dad? And that's where life story helps to answer that, but also informs their life choices. And they will see similarities. These are the people who made them. The work is not to say because you are similar in many ways, you are going to make the life choices they did. But it just gives them a wider picture of their sense of self. So it's important, it's critical. Time it well. Timing is everything. Timed well, it is a brilliant, brilliant thing to have.